Hello everyone, we're going to create a password strength checker with the following ideas. That is that we're going to launch string checking, conditions and security basics as well. And our example idea is our program checks if a password has at least 8 characters length, uppercase letter, upper letter, number, special character. And this is our example output, which will give us a weak, medium and basically the strong. So for this we need to do the following. Firstly, we need to ask from the user for the input of the password. So we're going to create a variable which will take input from the user, and then create three trackers to check for the uppercase, number and special characters. And we're going to use the if and else condition to check for the password length and the conditions of if it is uppercase, is digit, is num or something like that. And we're going to create a count rules for a counting system which will basically determine the password strength using the increments of the number. And we're finally going to use the if and else condition which will bring us the real password. Now let's start with the program. So firstly we're going to create a variable which is named password, and we're going to take input from for this variable. So enter the password. So so this variable takes the input from the user, which is absolutely necessary for this program. Now we're going to create three trackers. First tracker would be uppercase, and we're going to set this as false right now so that later on, if certain conditions are true, we can increment the values, and those values can help us determine the strength of the password. As underscore where number is false, as underscore special which is false. Okay, so now we're going to the main program, which is the if and else condition. If length of the password is smaller than 8, we're going to say print password strength is weak. Okay, so this is our first condition, and now we're going to use the else condition, which is if else. So we're going to use a for loop so that it goes through each of the characters entered by the user and checks for the conditions, which are these three conditions, and gives us the values accordingly. So for char in, so we're going to check for it in the password, right? Password, and okay, it has underscore uppercase I'm sorry, if char dot is upper, which is basically uppercase, uh, hash underscore uppercase will be true. Okay, now it makes sense. And else uh, yeah, char dot is digit, which means it's a number. Our second condition will be met, which is number equals to true. And elif char dot is where was the final one, which is all num. Then so for this it's going to have to be not char dot is not, so that we can satisfy the condition, and hash underscore special. By condition I mean it's going to check if all of the characters are the numbers or digits, and if it is not, it means it has a special character which is true. Okay, so now we have completed the the loop condition for the first step, and now we are going to create a counter which will basically increment the value accordingly. So the counter will be named rules underscore path, and it's going to be set at 0, and accordingly we're going to increment the value. So if there is a condition where it has the uppercase, and then it's going to be the rules underscore path will be plus equals to 1, which is the increment. It means it will increment the value of a rule passed by 1. If has underscore number, it will also increment by 1. I'm sorry, rules passed plus equals to 1. Okay, if has special plus equals to, I'm sorry again, rules passed plus equals to 1. Okay, so this is our main logic, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the if and else condition to check for the value of the rules passed, and according to that value we will determine if the password is weak or strong. Okay, so let's use the if condition rules underscore passed is equals to 0, or rules underscore passed equals to 1, and then let's put a gap here. Then we are going to print password as the interval strength, which is weak, because it's 0 and 1, which means it only satisfies mostly one condition, which means it's going to be a weak password. Elif rules passed equals to 2, print password strength medium, and finally rules passed equals to 3 print and I'm sorry again it will be password strong. So this will be our final code, and I believe it looks pretty fine. There doesn't look to be that much of a mistake about the cards. And now let's run the is all norms will be this. Okay, and yeah, it should be fine now. Now let's check it. I'm going to save and I'm going to run. Okay, so we're going to enter the password, which is so wait a minute, this looks a bit untidy, so I'm gonna give a space here and run the project again, which is control R. Okay, so we're gonna enter the password now. What if I want to know what happens if I enter wrong. So there is no passwords, it means that the value is probably 0 to 1, so it's going to be weak. Now if we run the program again, and this time let's put a value answer, which will be weak because it doesn't satisfy any of the conditions. So now let's try again with a better condition. I'm sorry, a better password, which is angel at the rate, I'm sorry, 123, and yeah, and let's put the angel at the font capital. Okay, so now it satisfies two conditions, which is the numbers and also the uppercase letter. So that's why we get 2, which means it's gonna be a medium password. Now let's try again. So let's try answer. Okay, what happens if it's more than 8? So it's still weak because it doesn't satisfy these 3 conditions. It does satisfy these conditions, but it doesn't satisfy the condition here as well, because of which it's 0, so it is weak. Now if I run this again and enter a nice password, so this satisfies all of our conditions, and let's see, and we get the value which is strong, just like we wanted. And this is our program. Thank you.